This podcast contains strong language and adult situations. If that's not your thing, you've been warned.
Welcome to the Fuck My Work Life podcast.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Kay.
Have you ever had a bad day at work?
Well, in this podcast, we share your weird, wonderful, and sometimes horrific stories from the workplace.
Which may leave you thinking, maybe you don't have it so bad after all.
Let's get into it.
Let's do this. Welcome back, fuckers.
Hey, everybody. It's Kay.
And it's Jay.
And we already said, but this is the Fuck My Work Life podcast.
Yes.
I forgot there's the whole pre-intro thing, but yeah.
I think that was my hang up too. I was like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Didn't we record all that shit before? Can't we just start talking?
Yeah, well, here we are. We are here. It is episode 15, and we have a special guest with us today. We have got Dustin from the Dustin Can Read and Watch podcast.
Woohoo!
Woo! Hi, Dustin.
Hey, guys. How are you
doing?
I'm just being silly. Sorry. I'm doing great. This is like the second beer I've had today, so I don't drink that often, so I'm a little tipsy.
Ooh, perfect.
And, yeah, it's perfect. I'm glad I wrote some stuff down because I would not be able to remember a damn thing. My mind has wandered.
Do you or would you like to tell everybody about your podcast?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm Dustin from Dustin Can Read and Watch. It's all right there in the title. I read some YA books mostly, sometimes other books, and talk about them with a guest. And I also, talk about TV shows and whatnot. I'm trying to make it a little different than other shows, trying to come up with little scenarios. Like the newer episodes, I was making some give me your favorite episode of a show that would make me want to watch it. Mm-hmm. So, I started doing that. It's called My Favorite Episode, I've only done 2 of them, so I haven't really had anything I've gone, no, I'm never going to watch this show ever again yet, which I can't wait to do that. I want drama. I want drama on my show.
I could probably come up with one that you'll hate if you want.
Have you seen the new Saved by the Bell?
Hey, he recommended that.
Oh.
That's why I've been watching it. Jay's upset because I was watching it yesterday and I fell asleep on the couch and he realized that he was the only one actually watching it.
I was sitting there and I was like, I can't believe she watches this shit.
It's hilarious.
And then not even 10 seconds later, I hear. And I was just like, fucking shit. She's sleeping and I'm watching this crap.
Did you do yoga that day? Was that why you were so tired?
Yeah, well, it was yoga and a pint. So you do the yoga class and then you get a pint of beer. And then we stayed for another pint of beer. So then I came home and took a nap.
Sometimes those are the best naps.
Oh, yeah. So you said you read YA. Do you know what that is, Jay?
No idea.
I figured not. So
young adult fiction.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's basically stuff, like if you look back at like Fear Street or Christopher Pike or anything like that. Like from our day, back in the day, but now it's more like you got your Twilights, you got your, the fantasy ones. I'm so tired of those. Oh my God, I can't stand. No, don't even get me started. And then we have like a lot of queer books coming out lately, and a lot more books by Black people, by Black authors and people of color. And it's really been really cool to see all the cool stuff that's come out of that. And they're more mature than they used to be.
Yeah.
100%. They're a little more like, an older version of Judy Blume books almost sometimes. They're teaching you a lesson about life without, in an entertaining way. So that's what I like about those. They're very simple. I like that about, because everybody goes through adolescence.
Right.
Yeah.
And but when you get older, your experiences in life differ. You can go in many different directions, but most people have the basic way you grow up in a house with family and, not everybody obviously, but everybody has similar experiences growing up. That's why that's one of those genres I think most people can relate to, that and children's books, because they've got to be entertaining for adults as well. Otherwise,
right.
If they want to read them.
Because we have to read them to the children.
Exactly.
I love the YA books just because, like you said, they're easy to read. They're kind of nostalgic. They bring back all those emotions you had kind of growing up and coming of age and stuff. And it's just kind of lighthearted where you're like, oh man, if only I knew then what I know now,
Yeah.
Kind of
And, a lot of them are only like 200 pages. A lot of them become like 400 to 500 pages nowadays. I'm like, crap, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's like it reads like a Stephen King novel, this huge. You're like, what the crap? I can't read all of this. And I don't see a teenager sitting through all this. I don't know.
Right. Although I used to read Stephen King novels as a teenager too. I loved them. I was a weird kid.
Nerd.
But I did start rereading a couple of the like Babysitters Club's books a couple of years ago when the show came out, and I was just like,
yeah,
because those were like my thing growing up. And
those turned out to be a lot better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, I really.
And I was like, wow, these are really freaking mature. There's like middle grade books, and they're having like real issues in life. It's not like I like a boy and he likes me. There are some of those, typical storylines for like an 80s kid,
Yeah.
But then they have all this stuff like my parents are getting divorced, my father wants nothing to do with me, and I have diabetes.
Yeah.
And
my grandma died. And
exactly. Crap. That's just some heavy stuff, man. Yeah. These kids are going through it.
Maybe that's why I'm so dark now.
It's like wow.
Sounds great.
Am I on my show?
You want to start talking about drinking then?
No, we don't. I mean, you guys can talk about this stuff. It's fine. I read all those books too. What is it, like Babysitter's Gang?
Yeah, the Babysitter's Gang.
Gang.
Yeah. They have signs and everything. Well, we can get into what everyone's drinking,
Yeah.
Just because why?
We drink because we work.
That's right.
Woo-hoo.
And if ever there were a week to drink because we work, for me, this would be the week. It was a rough week. But what are you drinking, Dustin?
I am drinking beer from a local brewery. It's called High Cotton Brewery out of Memphis. And the name of the beer is Mexican Lager.
I like a Mexican lager.
12-ounce beer and established 2013. Yeah.
Wow, it's aged. That's nice.
I know. That's done. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of like I don't know. I've had some better ones, but it's not bad. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not one of those people. I'm not a connoisseur. I kind of taste a little bit like a regular like Budweiser Coors type beer. Yeah, a little bit. It doesn't taste like, it's not heavy or anything like that, but it is very frothy. But it is pretty good. Go check it out if you're in my area. Look for High Cotton Brewery. They have other ones too. They're all like these festive looking cans. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I like it. What are you guys drinking?
What are you drinking, Jay?
I am having a Moscow Mule. For those of you who don't know, is vodka. Well, I guess it's not a Moscow Mule. It's
sort of a Moscow Mule.
3/4 of a Moscow Mule. It's vodka and ginger beer. I just didn't do the lime juice.
Traditional ones have bitters too, don't they? Yeah, of some sort. I don't know.
The Moscow Mule.
It's a J Moscow Mule.
3/4 of that.
Yeah. It's a mule.
3/4 of a Moscow Mule. It's Moscow Mule.
Yeah, we actually didn't have any beer on hand today, and I don't think we felt like going anywhere to get beer today.
Well, I went out to get the ginger beer. I was going to get like ginger ale or something to mix with vodka. I just didn't want beer.
Yeah.
Because if I get beer, they're all gone.
You'll drink all of it.
I'm going to drink all of them.
Oh.
And it's like
once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, I just didn't want to today.
So I am drinking, I don't know. It doesn't have a name. It's pink lemonade vodka with sparkling water. It's refreshing and light, kind of a nice summery drink.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I never had that before. It sounds good.
Yeah.
Although I think you probably just make pink lemonade and pour some vodka in there.
You could definitely do that. Yeah, but there's like a specific brand that makes a pink lemonade vodka. It probably tastes exactly the same as if you just mixed pink lemonade with vodka. I'm sure. But it's good.
Sounds good for a hot summer day. What is the temperature out there?
Today it's probably in the mid 70s. It was hot the last couple of days. It was in the 80s.
Yeah, it's been hot.
But we don't get that humidity here. It's pretty dry.
Yeah. It's like the 90 degrees around here past week.
And probably really humid, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's hot, y'all.
It's hot, y'all. Are you originally from Memphis? Did you grow up in Memphis?
Yeah, I grew up here, a suburb of Memphis. I'm actually in northern Mississippi, just like a mile over the border, and there's Memphis. Boom. Gotcha. So yeah, it's ugh. Yeah. I don't sound like I grew up in the South as much. I know I have a little bit of an accent, but it's not as, I try not to, I don't know. I've always hated the Southern accent.
Yeah, you can hear a little bit of it, but it's not My grandma's from Tennessee, and so she had quite the accent.
Yeah,
I can definitely
I get twangier, especially if I drink too. So.
By the end, you'll just be like, "Hey, y'all, here's my fucking story."
Yeah, I'm gonna sound like Kelly on Drunk Theory.
Be like Boomhauer. Well, I was going on down to work, man. You getting all around there, you go.
So yeah, if you guys want to share what you are drinking, you can hashtag we drink because we work. Doesn't have to be alcoholic. If you're just enjoying a specific beverage, you can share it with us. And that leads us into our
weekly distractions.
Yeah. So this is just kind of, it can be a TV show, a book, or a hobby, or anything that's kind of taking your mind off of the day-to-day
grind.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Going to your 9 to 5.
Your job.
Your bag.
Yeah. It's kind of like
I think 9 to 5 is just like it's like the
saying for like a.
Yeah. The slogan for your day job.
Yeah. The daily grind.
Yeah.
So is there anything that has been distracting you, Dustin?
I watch a lot of TV. I started watching the show called The Flight Attendant on HBO Max. I don't know if you've seen it. It's Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory in it.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
I've seen the previews for it. She's like a CIA agent or something like that, or some sort of.
Actually, she's just a flight attendant, but she's also an alcoholic. She's always partying, and then she ends up with this guy on one of her flights, and then she wakes up one morning in the hospital next to him, and his throat's been slashed, and she's like, "Oh crap!" So she's in like Bangkok, Thailand. So she definitely does not need to be caught there.
Yeah.
So she's like, I didn't do this, but I'm going to find out who did. But she like cleans up the crime scene, and it's you're like one mistake after another. You're like, quit drinking, girl, because she makes so many mistakes. She drinks so much, and all these different. It's kind of like Rosie Perez is in it as well, which I love her. And I don't know if you know who Michelle Gomez is. She was the mistress on Doctor Who, and she was also in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. She's been in a lot of stuff, but she's in it. She plays this like assassin on it. It's really great.
Who was she in Sabrina?
Yeah. She was Lilith. Lilith, the one that took over the teacher's body for a while and then kept the Lilith.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know.
Idea.
No.
She's one of those people that once you saw her once, you would remember her. She's got like big eyes and,
I'm trying to picture her because I watched the first couple seasons of that show, but it's been a minute since I've seen it.
Okay, I just have to ask a question. Does Sabrina have a talking cat? Is that the one I'm
does not
of?
talk in this version? He only talks to her, and we can understand him. He just meows, but she understands him.
Okay,
so the like cheesy one from what was that, the 90s or like the early 2000s? The one with Melissa Joan Hart.
It was late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, so she had the talking, like the animatronic talking cat.
Salem.
Yeah. This one's the newer one's a little bit more dark.
Oh, there's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Newish.
Yeah, it's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And she like, their coven worships Satan and they do a lot of dark magic. There's a lot of sex stuff. It's the Riverdale of Sabrina, basically.
Yeah.
It's literally the same people who made Riverdale. So,
but the flight attendant one sounds interesting. Is it more drama or is it like comedy?
It's a dramedy.
Dramedy. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like an international spy thriller thing, but with like, there's funny parts in it, but it's mainly like you screaming out there, "Why are you drinking this situation, you dumb bitch?" Like people are chasing you with guns and you're like, "I'm going to stop and have some vodka." Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, she's like goes into these like things called the Mind Palace and she talks to the dead guy. Like she's working it out psychologically at the same time. So it just jumps back and forth in there. It's a really interesting show. And they're in like the second season now. So, and we're in the middle of watching that. That's weekly, so you might have to wait for the second season. But you can binge all the first season.
Yeah,
so I know you hate doing the weekly.
I know.
Yeah,
I like the binge too. Sometimes I don't mind the weekly, but I definitely enjoy a good binge. Do you have a distraction, Jay?
Oh, I have a couple. I mean, I guess the one that is distracting me the most, I feel like it's like a recurring thing.
Yeah, you've already talked about it.
Like it's so recurring, but this one's a little different. I'm actually getting paid to paint someone's motorcycle, and it's the first Harley that I've painted. So it's pretty exciting, as you can tell. Like I'm over the fucking moon, obviously.
Well, I saw like the pictures you posted of other ones you've done, and I thought those were really awesome. I like the one that you had. I think it was purple with like skulls or something kind of hidden in there a little bit. You can see if the right light hits it. I really like that one for sure. That was cool.
Yeah, he does a really cool job. You've done one. Have you talked about I'm going to say this wrong.
Tuskegee. I don't know if I've talked about that one. That's like I'm kind of in the middle of it. So that's just like
a fun project.
I have 2 gas tanks, 2 motorcycle gas tanks that I can practice on. And, I practice on them and I take pictures, and I was doing like an homage to the Tuskegee Airmen, because they had a certain way that they painted their planes. And for people who don't know, Tuskegee Airmen are the first all African-American. They started as a bomber support squadron in World War II and then moved to a fighter squadron. But they have the best bomber support record in history. I mean, they've made movies, they've written books.
There was a movie that came out recently, I think, that was about this.
Yeah, there's a movie, I don't know how long ago it was called The Tuskegee Airmen, and it's like Lawrence Fishburne and some other people. I think
and some other guys.
Like that one dude with
Lawrence
the
Fishburne.
hair.
Who's the guy who was the wide receiver in that Tom Cruise movie where he was the sports agent?
Oh,
Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr. is in it. I'm pretty sure. I think this movie that I'm talking about came out in like maybe the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I painted this tank. I painted it silver, and then I airbrushed the rivets on it. And they had a certain way that they painted their tank where it was like they painted the nose red and they painted the tail red, but the tail was like at a diagonal.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a straight line around the tail. It kind of went at a diagonal. And then I kind of stressed the silver that I used for the metal and made like panel lines with rivets. And then this guy wanted me to paint his bike. And so I put the practice tank on hold to start painting his bike. I know. I feel like every single weekly distraction with me is going to be the same thing.
Well,
I'm sure I could make something up.
Yeah, but
or
that's what's distracting
something else
you.
that's distracting.
I
me.
started doing little dances in the mirror for myself. There you go.
Well, don't think I haven't been doing the Lizzo dance all over my house.
The Lizzo dance.
Yeah, from
I
TikTok.
haven't seen this apparently. I love Lizzo though, but I'm a little bit behind.
There's a TikTok dance. It's like every other video on TikTok is people doing this dance, and it has been stuck in my head, and I'm learning the dance, and someday maybe I will do it.
It's okay. What's your weekly distraction?
Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of TikTok and the Lizzo dance. But no, actually, I thought of one just now that back in the 90s, I believe it was, there was a fun little Canadian sketch comedy show called Kids in the Hall that I really enjoyed. It was very weird and kind of strange Canadian humor. And they just started a new one with all the original cast. And I started watching that this morning while I was cleaning. And it was...
I saw that. They came out on Prime, right?
Yeah. And it's... it holds up. They're still weird and quirky, and it's kind of like that nostalgia.
Is this guy back?
Yeah,
Is this
not yet.
crushing your head guy back?
Not yet. There's been some characters that were from the first time around, but I think a lot of them are mostly new characters because they're like in their 60s now. So
yeah, we were upstairs like putting laundry away, and she was watching this, and I recognize the name Kids in the Hall, but I've never seen it. I've never seen the old one. And we're watching this one, and it's like a skit about the percentage of doctors that drop babies when they're delivering them. And I was just like,
Lord,
what the fuck are we watching?
The doctor's like, my drop average is only 39%.
The national average of babies dropped is 70%, but mine is 39.
There was also like full frontal nudity in the first 10 minutes of the first episode. We're just like, okay, well, this is where we're going with this. All right. A little different from the first time around, but I'm into it. It was pretty funny. That like gave me a nice smile today. So that's been my distraction. If you all listening would like to share what is distracting you, you can hashtag weekly distraction. We like to hear those. And And on that note, I don't know if y'all remember a few episodes back, we had a story about bright-eyed little teenager taking a job in a call center and scamming little old ladies out of their money. It's the teenage swindler. That was our pal Dustin.
Yeah, that was me. I had no morals.
How do you sleep?
I know.
I'm excited to hear some other work stories you may have.
Well, I have worked a lot of places. I don't know. I feel like I was like, when I tell people I've done that, and they're like, you've done that? Like, yeah. I mean, I'm not like the jack of all trades. I'm not somebody who's done everything. I'm not, you would never find me an episode of Dirty Jobs or anything like that. And I don't do anything gross or anything.
I used to clean shitters.
Yeah,
Shitters full.
exactly. I didn't climb up in the attics and install cable systems.
Kitty!
Yeah, my cat jumped up behind me. You better not start knocking stuff off that shelf, damn it.
Oh, she's gonna. Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
God. I know, we're fucking suckers for cats.
Yeah, that's Mao, M-A-O-W, like meow, but with an A.
Meow.
I found that's what she was calling out to me when I found her in a parking lot like 10 years ago. So,
Aww, you saved her life.
And she just went, hey! And I was like, hey! It was really cute. It was very cartoonish. Big old eyes. She's like, hey!
Hey, mister!
So that's what I called her.
I'm so friendly.
I'm so cute. I'm just a baby.
6 months later, it's my house.
Yeah. No, she's good because I already had a cat and a dog. So she was like, okay, they were here first. But anybody else shows up after that, no, I'm sorry. I was the last one. I'm the last one coming in. You're not, no, I'm not doing this. So anyway, sorry, back to what I was talking about before the cat. I train cats. I don't train cats. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so yeah, I worked at like Baskin Robbins and a video store back in the 90s. I worked at event staff at our local, I guess, Coliseum or whatever, the Pyramid. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I, did work study and stuff in college, whatever. And I worked for a month at Barnes & Noble. I worked at a Banana Republic almost a year. And then I worked at a local pharmacy, kind of like a Walgreens or CVS type place for about 3 to 4 years. And I was a warehouse auditor, a pizza delivery driver, a relay operator for the deaf and hard of hearing. I worked at a front desk at the Botanic Gardens. I've worked in a bank with like loan and credit operations and whatnot. I was training for 2 weeks to be a horse-carriage driver. I just wrote down all these random things.
I want to hear what happened there.
Well, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't that bad. Then I was a costume shop assistant for a summer at the ballet, helping them organize things and moving on. They had the new, those laundromat racks that go around and bring everything, they were putting those in. So I helped them organize and get all that stuff on there and up like 2 flights because they had 2 of them. They were doubles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really nice. And I became a data entry temp and started doing administrative assistant work. Then I also did some instructional design thing for training at a warehouse, a distribution warehouse. And
you've got a lot of variety in your jobs.
I know.
What do you do now?
I'm just an administrative assistant right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sucks. But
I did that for 10 years.
I'm so tired of it. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
There's not enough to do for me. I need to do stuff because my mind, just kind of going crazy. I'm like, I need to do something. I'm tired of playing solitaire.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
I'm tired of this.
Not fun.
Tired of playing this. But,
I mean, I had some days like that when I was at an administrative assistant, but it was mostly me just doing like the shit jobs that like the partners didn't want to do. And, that's never fun.
Yeah. I answer the phones. I get like some paperwork together for the stuff we had to have for these contractors we use. Make sure we have all the proper and right paperwork. And I order office supplies. I help clean up a little bit, but that's about it. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I I do people's time entry. People send me in their time from the field and enter their time for them. That's about it. Sounds like it's a lot more than it is because I can get all that crap done in like an hour.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like twiddling my
Thanks,
thumbs for
all.
the rest of the day. Like, okay. Because the phone doesn't ring off the hook or anything.
Are you allowed to read or like listen to your headphones or anything like while you got nothing to do?
Yeah, I can. But there's only so much I can't pay attention to too much. It's got to be something I'm really familiar with. So try to listen to podcasts and stuff. I can do it if I'm doing some little bit of data entry work or whatever, and I'm not really like, something I have to focus on. I can't do two things at once. It's really weird. I have to be really, just why it's been hard for me to read lately. I'm like, I can't focus right now.
Yeah, I get that. So are there any of those that stand out that you want to hear more about from his list? We heard,
man, he rattled those off.
we heard some of your event-based stories when we were on your podcast a while back, where you got to see was it Justin Timberlake being an idiot?
Oh yeah, he's totally one.
So I'm curious. You said you were training to be a horse carriage driver for 2 weeks.
Shit.
Like why didn't you actually become one?
Well, mainly because this sounds really bad. I don't mean anything disrespect anybody who's a horse carriage driver, but a lot of the people I was training with, they all lived in like trailers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So compared to me, who's like from a suburb, nice, driveway, lawn,
paved roads,
hey, man.
in one place.
Sometimes trailers have driveways now.
I don't appreciate that.
It's just gravel. It ain't no different.
But no, they're just different type of people. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't think I want to be one of these people.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be let into their group because I don't want to turn into one of them. And I was learning everything really well. So I learned how to wash the horse and how to like put on the reins and take everything on. I mean, everything, make sure their hooves were good, all that kind of stuff. And then hook up the carriage and everything. I learned all of that. And then got to drive around a little bit, supervised. And then the second week or the end of the second week, they're, hey, we're going to let you stop training with her and get you to train with him. And everything I did for him was wrong. I was like, this is how she trained me. She does it wrong. I'm like, but I'm really getting confused.
Yeah.
I've been learning this way the whole time. And now I have to change completely what I'm doing. I don't know, just got me pissed off. And this guy was just being rude about it. And I'm like, okay, let me get this. All right, this is, I'm going to get this done. And he just was like, well, do it faster. Just being a jerk. And so I said, you know what? You do it. You do it. I'm good. I'll see you later. Peace. And then I just walked away. So like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
Probably the best move you could have made.
Yeah.
That
I know.
sounds
So I was like, something's going to happen. I'm going to blow up this guy at some point. He's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah. Those are the worst people. The people where you're not building a rocket. The responsibilities of your job are not like
life or death
kind of responsibilities, but everything you do is wrong. Everything you do is wrong. Like I put the left side on first before I put the right side. So, you did that wrong. That's one mark. It's those are the worst people to work for.
Yeah. And I was recognizing that right away. I was like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
Nope. Not for me. Yeah. I know there was one I definitely wanted to tell you about that was going to tickle your fancy a little bit. And that's when I worked at the video store, which was Blowout Video. Do you remember Blowout Video?
I don't think we had those out here.
They were in Target.
No, I don't remember.
Did they have it in Louisiana?
No, I don't. I mean,
well, I think it was mainly East Coast, but we happened to get one because they were not our Target, Kmart. They were in Kmart, like the front little kiosks, and there was a video store right there. And so I knew somebody. Well, I ended up knowing him. And he worked there, and I ended up getting the job there. I was like, oh, this is great. I always wanted to work in a video store, and it's just one of those things you wanted as a teenager. Oh, I want to work in a video store. It's like, I want to work in the movie theater. You can see the free movies and stuff. And so that was cool. Except it was the summer when like Titanic came out on video. Oh my God, that was a big deal. Major big deal.
Yeah.
That was kind of and I was supposed to be 18 working there. And they thought I was 18 and I wasn't. And I told them that 17. That happened at the Pyramid too.
Was that because they had a special section, or why did you have to be 18?
No, they just wanted 18-year-olds working. I don't know. They just didn't want to hire anybody lower than 18.
Gotcha.
But I was 17. I told him that, and he was like, he thought it was turning 18 soon. I was like, no, in like 9 months. It's not like with the next couple.
Close enough.
Whatever. So I ended up working there, and one of the things was we had this couple. This man and this woman came in, and I'm going to give them a fake name. I'm just going to call them the Stevens. And she goes, yeah, we have an account. It's under Stevens because they didn't have their card on them. So I had to look them up. And I was, okay, cool. She came in. That's like, oh, got a video. And then an hour later, she came back with another guy.
Oh.
And I went, okay. Maybe they're friends. Maybe it's her brother or something. And I said, and I just acted like she was a new person because I didn't know what the deal was going on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, oh, you're back. I didn't want to like be involved.
Is this a new guy? Oh, okay.
Blow her up.
I just went, last name, please. Because she didn't have her thing. She was like, it's Stevens. And I went, okay. Oh, she's checking out. And then she left, and I went over to like whoever I was working with, and I was like, what's up? What was that? What was going on there? Like, is she a twin? Is she like, like what's going on? He's like, no, they're a throuple.
Oh.
It's a three. Yeah. I was like, what? And no, she goes, yeah, sometimes she gives her maiden name. Get something.
Whoa.
I'm like, what the hell? Why is it under? I don't understand. Well, it was just kind of one of those things. It was kind of funny and whatnot. And then the place, Blowout Video, basically shut down nationwide. Like, they just went out. And so I came in one day and they were packing up everything. I was like, what the hell?
Like, you came in for your shift and they were packing up?
Yeah, and they were packing up everything.
Oh, wow.
Like, well, okay.
I guess I'm fired.
Yeah. And I'm watching MTV months later. And do you remember Sex in the 90s on MTV?
Yeah, wasn't it supposed to? It was like really salacious for the time, right? And it was kind of like,
yeah. They would just talk about different topics in every episode or whatever. Well, this one was Sex in the 90s. It's a group thing. And I'm watching, and I'm like, hey, that looks like the Mid-South Fair. It's our local big fair that we have every year. It's like, I could tell like landmarks behind them. I was like, that looks like, hey, wait a minute. And I'm looking, I was like, oh my God, it's them. They're on MTV. Oh, no, it gets worse. So I'm watching going, oh my God, mom. It's what I said, I know them. we're and she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, watch. And we're watching, and it shows them like in their apartment, and then how they like put another bed up against another bed. So she was married to one guy and she wanted to be with this other guy. And the other guy was like, I'm not really into it, but I guess I'll do it for her. I'm like, this is does not feel like a good situation.
No.
Yeah. And they're talking about, I don't want to get into it too much because it really creeps me out, but just them, they creeped me out.
Yeah.
They were just creepy people. But so I'm watching, I'm like, oh my God, Mom, those are the projects like right around the corner from our house. like a couple blocks away. It was like just around the corner. Oh my God. And I was like, this was filmed not far from our house. It was the creepiest thing. I was like, oh man. So yeah, the throuple at the Blowout Video was a fun story for me.
That's hilarious. You noticed him later. We're going to take a quick break to listen to a promo from another fellow indie podcaster.
Welcome to the Shane and I podcast, where Max, my co-host, and me, Shane, I'm the other host. Co-host? I'm not sure. Anyway, we talk about things and stuff, not to be confused with stuff and things, because they're two completely different things. We're not to be taken seriously. We just want you to laugh a little while listening. You can check us out wherever you find podcasts. We're on Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, all the good places. Just look up Shane and I Show on your Google, and you'll find us. All right.
I don't know about you, but with a busy work schedule, I never have time to sit down and read. Luckily, there's Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up articles about the most trending topics on the web and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. You can browse articles from topics you choose and just start playing. Follow specific topics from sports, tech, business, science, or Bitcoin. Newsly will find you the latest articles and read them aloud. They even have digital radio. And do you want to know the best part? They have podcasts. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries, and you can find our podcast, Fuck My Work Life, there too. Download and try Newsly for free by visiting www.newsly.me or clicking on the link in our show notes. And be sure to use promo code FWL for a 1-month free premium subscription. Stop scrolling and start listening with Newsly. And we are back. And Dustin has got another good work story for us.
Okay. So when I was about 20 to like around 23, I worked at a pharmacy type place. It was kind of like I was saying before, like Walgreens or CVS, and it was called Super D. And they've closed them all down since then. So it was brand new. They were building it in the neighborhood, and I was like, so I just went ahead and, got a job there. Just basic clerk, stock boy, cashier, jack of all trades in that place, and to clean up everything and to stock. I did everything. And one year they decided, hey, we're going to take these. We're trying to get they finally got all the photo equipment for 1 hour photo, which I learned how to do all that and how to develop the photos. And it was really cool. So they got this whole department going. They really wanted people to bring in their photos. So they decided, hey, we're going to do a Santa Claus thing. And since I'm like 6'3".
Are you 6'3"?
Yeah. Well, I'm probably
wow.
shrunk by now. I'm probably 6'2" now. You shrink as you get older.
Right.
So, but I was like at least 6'3". I was like 6'3" and 3/4 out of high school. And then now I've gone down to like 6'2". It's kind of sad. It makes me I'm like, no, I want to be taller. That makes me upset. Yeah. So I'm tall, but I'm like really super skinny. Right. And I was like 6'3" at like 160 pounds, really skinny.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we want you to be Santa Claus. I'm like, okay. Luckily, we got the whole suit with like the padding and everything in it, but it was very obvious I was a skinny kid in this like padded suit. It was pretty sad.
This is the youngest looking Santa we've ever seen.
I know.
Big fat Santa, little bitty face.
Little baby face.
Well, the good thing was like I did theater in college for a few years. Like I went to school during this and, but I did theater for a while. I learned how to do like old age makeup. So I just did a little bit with what I had at the store and tried to make myself look a little older. Just it's all about the shading and whatnot,
Yeah.
But I wasn't perfect at it. But for little kids, I'm like, oh, that's Santa. They're not going to pay attention.
Yeah. Everyone is old to a little kid.
Also, I was the Easter Bunny at one point too. That one was weird.
Do you have pictures of these?
Yeah, I do. I know I had the Easter Bunny. I'm not in the Easter Bunny suit. I'm sitting on the lap of the person wearing it and act like I'm making out the Easter Bunny. But I do have one be a Santa with like some of my coworkers are in it. But I'll get those. I'll find them. I'll send them to you.
Okay.
And yeah, so oh my gosh, so like there was one time like where he wanted to do a promo. Hey, he wanted to get our photo department off the ground. So he decided to do these little promos and he would have people, hey, come on in. You can sit with Santa. You'll get like a 5x7 for free. But if you want more, you have to pay for those. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You get like one little thing. So a lot of people did come in and get them and just get the 5x7. That was totally fine. But he wasn't getting enough people in. So we decided, hey, there's a daycare kind of connected through the parking lots, but down a little ways. So he said, let's just go over there. We'll take pictures there. And then we'll let their parents know, hey, by the way, we got pictures. It kind of sounds bad if you think about it. We have pictures of your kids. If you want them, you better come get them.
Children.
We know what your children look like with Santa. Oh, man. So we went there and I'm sitting there and all these kids keep coming up to me in a line. They're like, hi, Santa. How are you? Ho, 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 ho. And I didn't want to sound like ho, 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 ho. I wanted to sound like I would ho, 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 ho.
The ho is very important.
I wanted it to be believable, okay?
Not ho, ho, ho.
Ho, 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 ho. Yeah. No, but one little girl came up to me and she looked really nervous. And then she sat on my leg. I was like, this girl has shit her pants.
Oh, no.
And she is sitting on my leg and just random little girl shitting her pants sitting on your leg. And you're like,
oh, no.
Smile.
Oh,
nope. She's like, she was, I think she went some more too while she was sitting there. But I was like, oh my God.
She would have accidentally on purpose fell off of my lap.
I know. Like, oh my God.
Shit, Sally fell.
So, God. Yeah. I got to use that costume and like be the first Santa Claus my niece ever saw.
Aww.
And yeah, I'm the first Santa Claus she's ever had a picture with. So kind of means something.
Yeah. That's a good
She had
memory.
no idea it was me, but I think she knows now.
Override the shitting story with that. So that's good.
Override the shitting story. The little girl shit on my lap,
Yeah. But then
That's
your
really
niece, you give a great memory to your niece. So it makes it all worth it, right?
Yeah, the shit was worth it.
Oh, God.
Ah, shit.
I only had one mall job. As you said, you worked at a Banana Republic.
Yeah, I worked at one in the mall. Yeah.
Mhm.
What was your job?
I worked for Contempo Casuals.
Okay, it's not too different.
Yeah. I mean, like this was geared towards like young women mostly. What was the other one? There was Contempo and Wet Seal. They were like sister companies.
Okay.
Kind of the same like teeny bopper clothing.
We were part of the Gap Inc. So so it's Banana Republic, Gap, and Old Navy. They're all part of the same company.
Yeah, and Banana Republic's like the most expensive one out of them.
Yeah, but we got like great discounts. We got like the discounts we got when I was working at Banana. So I got like 50% off 7 items of new clothing a month.
Oh, wow.
50% off, and then 30% after that, and then 30% off always at Gap, and 20% off over at Old Navy.
That's really good.
Like always. I know. I didn't have any money. I kept spending all my money on clothes.
Yeah.
That was back when they started actually bringing in color to the Gap, and now they've gone backwards into khakis and blue jeans.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, guys. We like the color.
Right. We like variety. Do you have any other stories you want to share?
I'm not sure. I worked at like I said, I worked at the Botanic Gardens. I had a really weird guy. I used to watch like that. I would be there doing events, like they would have weddings and conventions and whatnot there all the time, and they would also have outside concert series, but then other times just work during regular times, And there was a guy that kept hitting on me, and he was like 20 years older than me. He was like, my backyard backs up to this park. I'm like, okay. And then he was like, you should come by sometime for lunch. I'm like, I'm good, thank you. And like, oh my God, this is creeping me out. I'm good, but thanks for the offer.
You can just hop over my back fence when we're done. Go back to work.
Oh my God, no. This is creepy as hell. Yeah, and I worked as a relay operator, which I have like signed an NDA, so I can't give you like the specifics of calls, but like pretty much any call you can think of that you would have to make for anybody, I probably have done it.
What is it? Like an NDA?
Well, NDA is a non-disclosure agreement.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But you said you did like a relay for deaf and
hard of hearing. Yeah. So they would like type in what they wanted to say. I would be their voice and call someplace. And then the person would say something back. I would type it back to the person. And that was mostly what it was. Mostly you were just doing some typing. Sometimes you were just their voice. Like they would type it out and they could hear, but they were maybe mute or something. So you were just their voice. And then they would type out the response. So it was like you just talked like normal. Otherwise, you'd say, go ahead or GA when you were done with your statement. So they knew it was okay for them to respond. So it's very interesting.
So you were kind of like
very interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
That's really interesting. I've never even heard of that. Like,
obviously, it's something.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you'll notice if you ever watch anything on TV with like an infomercial type thing, you'll see TTY phone number, and that's what that is.
Okay.
It's text telephone. That's what TTY stands for. So it's basically it looks like a little typewriter, and it connects to their phone. They can use that, or they can use like there's an IM service they can use as well, so they can just kind of do it over the internet as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't use it as much anymore because, of texts and, that's when the Sidekick started getting popular. Remember when those came out, they flipped over with the big, that's when they became popular. So it was kind of that era where there's still IMing going on AOL Instant Messenger. And they had their own like thing you can use to call via that, which is where a bunch of like prank calls and stuff started happening. Yeah. Because people could just be anonymous and they didn't have to tell you. And you'd have to like meet certain protocols to get the call shut down because you knew it was a fake call and that wasn't being used properly. But it was that sucked. Oh my God, that sucked so much. That's when like all the Nigerian calls started coming through and scamming people. The Nigerian princes, and I'm going to send you this money if you send me so much back. That kind of stuff. Those happened a lot.
Did you ever have to relay a call like that where you're like,
yeah.
"Hi, I'm a Nigerian prince, and I have a large sum
But
of
you
money
knew,
waiting
like, by
for
the way
you."
they were saying things, like the way they after a while they would change the way they did it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's another one, oh, here's another one, and it was always copied and pasted stuff most of the time, and they
Mhm.
were very rude, because like you're supposed to work for me, that kind of thing. Like I'm supposed to be scamming people.
Yeah, get in on it, man.
Yeah, it was not fun because it became like 90% of the calls after a while
Oh, that
Wow.
were
sucks.
those. Yeah, it really sucked.
So it wasn't even people you were actually helping; it was just fucking scammers.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But I got to call a lot of different places, called a lot of like food delivery, and that was always really fun because people didn't understand what the hell I was doing. And I had to keep explaining it to them, and they would get mad, and then the caller might get mad at me for, why didn't you tell them better? I was like, I told them what I could tell them. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a script we had to follow. It was an interesting job. I got to talk to a lot of different types of people.
I bet.
A lot of different types of people. Oof.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking
like-
about it, and I'm imagining myself in that situation,
Mhm.
especially when like you have to explain that this is what you're doing to the person on the other line, because people's patience is very minimum,
Yeah.
especially if you're like ordering food somewhere and
Probably some teenager
they're
answering.
fucking busy.
Yeah.
And you call a place and they're busy, and they just want to know your order and get you off the phone and get the order. Like, man, I don't know if I could do that.
Sometimes you'd have good people who could like type fast what they wanted to say back, and then you would have the people like type pecking with the one finger type of people,
Mhm.
and it took forever. I'm like, you are deaf, and this is your way of communicating. Why can't you type better than this? I don't understand. Like, I never understood that. But yeah, it got to be really dicey, and there were some calls that I had to do that I felt really I did not like.
Yeah.
I had to call some risque places and talk in a certain way to certain people. Like sometimes phone sex was involved.
I was going to say, like, were there any phone sex operators?
Oh shit.
And depending on the voice of the person on the other line,
Well,
you're
that
kinda
changes everything.
Oh, yeah. There was phone sex involved sometimes.
Oh my God. So would you, like, I don't know how much you can say. So a lot of times it was, like you said, like kind of ordering food or maybe ordering something they saw on TV or something. But would you do like personal calls too if they just wanted to call someone?
Have
Is
a
that
chat
where
with
like,
somebody.
yeah.
Yeah, all the time. I
Okay,
call
so it was just
family all the time.
anything, any
Yeah.
kind of way they wanted to communicate. Interesting. That's so
And
fascinating.
people would call. There was, they'd call. I think it was 811 or 711. No, I can't remember what number it was, but I think it might have been 711 to call for text telephone to be able to call somebody. And as long as they had a text telephone, if they didn't, we were like, nope, we disconnect that call right away. If it became two voices talking to each other, it was like, no, we're not part of this. We're not needed here.
Yeah.
So they would call their families all the time, and I've had to call emergency services for various reasons, and some of them were not what I would consider an emergency.
Yeah.
Stuff like that all the time, But yeah, we called a lot of food orders in, especially on the weekends, and a lot of times it would be like a foreign sounding voice, somebody from a migrant, could have been Asian or Hispanic or whatever, and they wouldn't understand. They were really impatient because they weren't native to English, so they had to like, oh my God, it was so horrible trying to explain stuff to some people.
Yeah. It's so crazy. That's probably like just not a job that exists anymore with, like you said, like
Very
texting
few.
and email and everything's online ordering.
DoorDash
so,
and
Yeah, I kind of made me wonder if there's like an app that just goes ahead and converts what they want to say to voice.
I
But
mean, your
if
phone
they're-
does that, so I don't, right? Like you can text to or talk to text, so I don't see why.
Can't text to talk.
yeah, but now you don't have to, because if
Oh, but I guess
If
if
you're-
you're deaf, you're not talking to
Yeah,
text. That was really stupid.
if you're deaf, like I could understand if it's like people who are blind, but they can, I don't
Hear
know.
most of the time.
Yeah, well, blind
They
people
can
talk
hear and they
hear.
can talk. They just can't see.
It's very rare when you're deaf and blind. It's kind of like,
Yeah, but how would they read? All right, we're
Yeah.
gonna fucking go. way off into the weeds if we keep thinking about this. Damn you, Dustin. Why would you do this to us?
Give you something to think about. Be grateful for being able to, communicate
Yeah.
in
Right.
the average way.
That sounds like a cool job. I would like that.
What?
Oh, you'd think it was, but after a while, you kind of get tired of it. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
well, I'm glad I gave you guys something to think about.
Yeah. So are you a super fast typer?
I went in and you were supposed to have like 50 words per minute when you go in.
Mhm.
And I was like struggling to get that. And I finally got it. When I got out of there, I was doing like almost 80 words per minute.
Wow.
Damn.
You would
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Doing it
Yeah.
constantly. Yeah. I'm not nearly as good now, but I'm still pretty decent.
And I guess on that note, unless there's any other stories you want to share.
I think I'm good for now. I'm going to hold off on some, I guess. We'll get to them later. We'll get to them
Yeah.
another time.
We'll have you come on. We're gonna do like a
Yeah,
summer
definitely.
series where we're calling it afternoon break, and it's just gonna be like short little episodes where someone jumps on and just like shares one or two little fun stories. So we'll have you back.
Okay. That sounds great.
Why don't you let everyone know where they can find your podcast?
I am available most anywhere. It's Dustin Can Read and Watch, and you can find me on most pod chasing platforms. I don't have any new episodes right now, but I'm coming up with them pretty soon. I'm just taking a little break. You can find me on Twitter though on Dustin_Holden, and on Instagram at Dustin Can Read for the most part. I haven't started up a TikTok. Once again, new phone. I'm going to start up a TikTok. That's where it's going to happen.
Do
I
it.
just want a better camera. If I'm going to do it, I want to look good.
Yeah. You got to get the ring light, the new camera.
I don't want no grain on this face. Okay. And yeah, so if you want to find me there, you can find me there. Thanks for
Awesome.
for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
We will link all of your stuff in our show notes so you guys can go and find Dustin easily. Thank you, everyone who is listening.
Hope you have a good work week.
Ugh.
Bye,
Thank you.
fuckers.
Bye, fuckers. If you have a workplace story you'd like to share, email it to us at fmwlpod@gmail.com or call the rant line at 310-818-3273.
You can find Fuck My Work Life on all major podcast platforms. If you like our podcast, please consider giving us a 5-star rating on Apple, Spotify, Good Pods, or Podchaser.
If you'd like to become a patron, check out our Patreon, where you can get access to all kinds of fun perks like swag, bonus content, and virtual happy hours.
And of course, please remember to support indie podcasts. They're working hard to provide amazing content for you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Until next week, bye, fuckers.
Hold, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nick. I'm the host of Nikolai's Kitchen, and I'm also the host of the annual Live Stream for the Cure. Live Stream for the Cure is a charity event where we raise money with content creators and podcast partners from around the world for the Cancer Research Institute, a wonderful nonprofit researching cancer immunotherapy, training the body's immune system to fight all forms of cancer. This is a mission and a future that I truly believe in. And myself and my team worked tirelessly over the past 5 years to raise over $50,000 for this cause. This year, we're aiming for our biggest single goal to date of $20,000, and we cannot do it without your help. Please join us for the event May 19th through the 21st, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern, for 45 hours of content from people all over the world. Together, we can bring hope for a future immune to cancer. The more eyes we reach, the more dollars we raise. Please help us in making this goal a reality. Together, we can make a difference.